Welcome back to Diabetes Daily Dose. Is bread dangerous for diabetics? Today we're diving into this topic. There's no denying bread's place in our diets. It's a staple in many cultures and a comfort food for many of us. But here's the thing, not all bread is created equal. For individuals managing diabetes, the type of bread they choose to consume can make a significant difference in their blood sugar levels. So what's the problem with bread for diabetics? The main issue lies in its high glycemic index. Now you might be asking, what's a glycemic index? Well, it's a ranking of how quickly foods cause your blood sugar levels to rise after you eat them. Foods with a high glycemic index, like many types of bread, can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar levels. This can be particularly risky for diabetics, who need to maintain stable blood sugar levels to manage their condition effectively. White bread, for example, has a high glycemic index. It's made from refined wheat flour, which has had most of its fiber and nutrients stripped away during the processing. This leaves behind a bread that's high in simple carbohydrates, the kind that quickly break down into sugar in your body, causing that rapid spike in blood sugar levels we talked about earlier. But here's the silver lining. Not all bread has a high glycemic index. Some types of bread can be a healthy part of a diabetic diet, providing essential nutrients without causing dramatic peaks and valleys in blood sugar levels. So, how do you navigate the bread aisle without spiking your blood sugar levels? The solution lies in choosing wisely and looking beyond the white loaf. And that brings us to our first solution, whole grain bread. Whole grain bread typically has a lower glycemic index than white bread, and it's packed with benefits that go beyond just managing blood sugar levels. But don't worry, there's a solution to this problem. Let's talk about whole grain bread. Choosing whole grain bread over white bread offers several benefits for diabetics. Now, let's dive into these benefits. Firstly, whole grain bread typically has a lower glycemic index compared to white bread. This means it causes a slower and smaller rise in blood sugar levels after you eat it. This is crucial for diabetics, as managing blood sugar levels is a constant balancing act. Secondly, whole grain bread contains more fiber. Fiber is not only essential for good digestion, but it also helps regulate blood sugar levels. How? Well, fiber slows down the absorption of carbohydrates into our bloodstream. This means that our blood sugar levels don't spike as rapidly when we eat foods that are high in fiber. But there are more benefits. Whole grain bread is a nutrient powerhouse. It's rich in essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. In contrast, white bread loses many of these nutrients during the refining process. What's more, the higher fiber content in whole grain bread is beneficial for heart health. It can help lower cholesterol levels and reduce the risk of heart disease, which is often a concern for people with diabetes. And let's not forget satiety. The fiber and complex carbohydrates in whole grain bread can help you feel fuller for longer. This can reduce the likelihood of overeating and aid in weight management, which is another crucial aspect of diabetes management. To sum it up, choosing whole grain bread supports better blood sugar control, provides essential nutrients, and contributes to overall health and well-being. It's like a secret weapon in the fight against diabetes. So, whole grain bread is a better choice for diabetics, but how much should we eat? Let's look at the issue of portion control in the next segment. Another challenge with bread for diabetics is portion control. It's surprisingly easy to overindulge in bread. That warm, crusty baguette or that soft, fluffy slice of white bread can be oh so tempting. But here's the catch. Bread is packed with carbohydrates, and when we eat too much of it, it can lead to excessive carbohydrate intake. Now remember, every gram of carbohydrate we consume turns into sugar in our bloodstream. So if we're not careful, that innocent-looking piece of bread can cause our blood sugar levels to spike, which can be particularly problematic for those managing diabetes. The key here is to avoid overeating bread. It's all about balance and moderation. And the best way to achieve this balance? Well, that's by mastering the art of portion control. Again, there's a solution to this problem. Let's talk about measuring portions. Measuring portions can help manage carbohydrate intake and blood sugar levels. Now let's talk about why measuring portions matters so much, especially when it comes to foods like bread. Firstly, measuring portions is instrumental in blood sugar control. Every slice of bread you consume contributes to your overall carbohydrate intake, and if you're not careful, this can lead to a rapid increase in your blood sugar levels. By measuring your portions, you can ensure that you're not consuming more carbohydrates than your body can handle, helping to prevent those dreaded blood sugar spikes. Secondly, portion control is an effective tool for managing your overall calorie intake. Bread is a staple in many meals, and let's face it, it's easy to eat more than we intend to. By keeping track of how much you're eating, you can avoid unintentional overeating and the weight gain that often comes with it. Next on the list is sensitivity to insulin. By measuring portions, you can gain a better understanding of how your body reacts to different amounts of carbohydrates. You'll start to notice patterns, and over time, you'll be able to make more informed decisions about how much bread and other carbs you can comfortably consume. Then, there's meal planning. Knowing exactly how much bread you're eating can help you plan balanced meals that include the right amounts of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. This is essential for maintaining steady blood sugar levels throughout the day. Finally, measuring portions promotes education and awareness. It might surprise you just how much you can learn about your eating habits by paying closer attention to portion sizes. You'll become more aware of when you're more likely to overeat or underestimate portion sizes, and you can make necessary adjustments to your diet. So, measuring portion sizes is essential for managing blood sugar levels. But what about the types of bread other than whole grain? Let's discuss. Not all breads are created equal. Some can be more harmful to diabetics than others. Let's dive into the world of bread. From the crusty baguette to the soft white loaf, bread comes in many shapes, sizes, and more importantly, types. Each type of bread has a different effect on blood sugar levels, making some a better choice for diabetics than others. First up, white bread. This is your typical, everyday bread. But don't be fooled by its common appearance. White bread is made from refined grains, which means it's stripped of its outer bran and inner germ layers, leaving only the starchy endosperm. This process removes many of the nutrients and fiber, resulting in a bread that has a high glycemic index and can cause a rapid spike in blood sugar levels. Next, we have whole grain bread. As we discussed earlier, this bread is made from whole grains that contain all parts of the grain, the bran, germ, and endosperm. Whole grain bread has a lower glycemic index than white bread, meaning it causes a slower and smaller rise in blood sugar levels. It's also packed with fiber and nutrients, making it a healthier choice overall. Then there's rye bread. Rye is a type of grain that's closely related to wheat. Rye bread has a lower glycemic index than white bread and even some whole grain breads. It's also rich in fiber, helping to slow down the absorption of carbohydrates and regulate blood sugar levels. Last but not least, we have sourdough. This bread is made by a long fermentation process that uses naturally occurring yeast and bacteria. This process results in a bread with a lower glycemic index, making it a better choice for blood sugar control. Plus, it's delicious. Bear in mind, it's not just about the type of bread, but also the portion size. Even the healthiest bread can cause blood sugar spikes if consumed in large quantities. Fear not, there's a solution to this problem too. Let's discuss the best bread options for diabetics. There are several bread options that are healthier for diabetics. And yes, it's possible to enjoy bread without spiking your blood sugar levels. The key lies in the type of bread you choose. Let's start with whole grain bread. It's packed with fiber and has a lower glycemic index, meaning it won't cause your blood sugar levels to spike as quickly. Plus, whole grain bread is rich in essential nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, providing a nutritious alternative to refined white bread. Next, consider sprouted grain bread. This bread is made from whole grains that have been allowed to sprout before being milled into flour. Sprouted grain bread boasts increased protein and fiber content, and it's often easier to digest. Moreover, sprouting can lower the glycemic index of the grains, making this bread a good choice for maintaining steadier blood sugar levels. Then, we have rye bread. Rye bread typically has a lower glycemic index than wheat bread and is high in fiber, which can help you feel fuller for longer periods. It also contains nutrients like magnesium and potassium that are beneficial for heart health. Finally, let's not forget about sourdough. Sourdough bread is made through a fermentation process that not only gives it a unique tangy flavor, but also lowers its glycemic index. This means it's less likely to cause a rapid rise in blood sugar levels after you eat it. Remember, it's not just about the type of bread, but also about portion size. Even the healthiest bread can cause blood sugar spikes if consumed in large quantities. So, always be mindful of your portion sizes and pair your bread with protein or healthy fats to further slow down the absorption of carbohydrates and keep your blood sugar levels stable. So, there are plenty of diabetic-friendly bread options available. But what about the times when we crave bread? Let's look at this next. Sometimes we just crave bread. This can be a problem for diabetics. It's a truth universally acknowledged that our taste buds sometimes demand the unique comfort of a slice of warm, fresh bread. But for people managing diabetes, these cravings can pose a significant challenge. Bread, especially the white and refined varieties, can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar levels, which is less than ideal for maintaining stable blood glucose. Hence, it's crucial to handle these cravings in a way that won't derail your blood sugar management efforts. Remember, the goal isn't to deprive ourselves, but to find a balance that allows us to enjoy our favorite foods while keeping our health in check. And yes, it's possible to satisfy your bread cravings without wreaking havoc on your blood sugar levels. Once again, there's a solution to this problem. Let's talk about managing bread cravings. Managing bread cravings is possible and can help maintain stable blood sugar levels. Let's delve into how you can do this. First, let's talk about mindful eating. This is a practice that involves paying full attention to what you eat and how you eat it. When you eat mindfully, you savor each bite and become aware of when you're full, which can prevent overeating. It's not just about reducing the amount of bread you consume, but also appreciating it more when you do. Next, we have substitution strategies. If you're craving bread, there are plenty of other foods that can satisfy your craving without causing a spike in your blood sugar levels. For example, you might substitute a slice of bread with a lettuce wrap or a whole grain tortilla. You could also explore breads made from almond flour or coconut flour, which have lower glycemic indices than traditional breads. Another strategy is to balance your meal with protein and fats. These nutrients slow down the absorption of carbohydrates and can help keep your blood sugar levels stable. So, if you're having a slice of bread, consider pairing it with a source of protein like chicken or a healthy fat like avocado. Lastly, we circle back to portion control. Even if you're choosing whole grain bread, it's important to remember that moderation is key. Try to limit your intake to 1 to 2 slices per meal. This can help satisfy your craving while keeping your carbohydrate intake in check. But remember, everyone is unique. What works for one person might not work for another. So it's important to listen to your body, monitor your blood sugar levels, and adjust your strategies as needed. By using these strategies, you can manage bread cravings effectively. Remember, bread is not necessarily dangerous for diabetics when consumed mindfully and in moderation. We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's recap. We've explored the potential problems that bread can pose for individuals with diabetes, from its high glycemic index to the difficulty of portion control. But we've also delved into solutions. Choosing whole grain bread brings a wealth of benefits, from a lower glycemic index and higher fiber content to a rich array of nutrients and heart health benefits. Measuring portions helps us manage blood sugar levels, calorie intake and insulin sensitivity, while also promoting meal planning and dietary awareness. We've investigated different types of bread and identified some of the best options for those managing diabetes. And we've unpacked the issue of bread cravings, offering strategies for managing them effectively. Remember, managing diabetes is about making informed choices. And now, you're better equipped to make those choices when it comes to bread. Thanks for tuning in to Diabetes Daily Dose.